Welcome to this week's edition of Morning Line, the USTA's weekly news magazine. I'm Paul Ramlow. My co-host Allison Conte will be joining us a little later in the show. Scioto Downs 2015 race meet went out in style this past Saturday night when the track hosted Ohio's Super Night for the 5th consecutive year. In addition to the 8 Ohio Sire Stakes finals, Scioto hosted a pair of Grand Circuit Stakes. Doo-Wop Hanover and driver Ronnie Wren Jr. led all the way to win the $225,000 Jim Ewart Memorial for free-for-all pacers in 149-2. The 5-1 Doo-Wop Hanover paced strongly down the stretch to win by a head over All Bets Off from the pocket. State Treasurer was third. Trained by Steve Elliott for co-owners Peter Blood and Rick Burks, Doo-Wop Hanover is a 4-year-old horse by Rock and Roll Hanover.
Usually the front end's pretty good at Scioto. Is that something that you took into account, or you just thought he had the gate speed?
Yeah, he has tremendous gate speed, and the rail's really not a good spot here, so I didn't think State Treasurer would get away good, but it usually is a good spot at the front end here. It's a speed track, but it's a cold night, early fall night, so it worked out.
Wind of the North dug in to score a wire-to-wire 153-2 win in the $100,000 Sam Chip Noble Memorial Trot at Scioto Downs. Driven by Dave Pallone, Wind of the North hung on to win by a head with Goral Hanover second. Southwind Pepino was third by a neck. Wind of the North is co-owned by trainer Darrell Beer and Joanne Dombeck. He is a 5-year-old gelding by Cantab Hall.
Is this a little bittersweet, thinking of Modern Family?
This is what we bought with Modern Family's life insurance money, so he's always with us, but still breaks my heart, Modern Family. I would give anything to have him back. I miss him so much. He's a good horse. Next year we're going to go after the big boys a little bit more. This year I kind of second-tiered staked them.
Just do awesome at Scioto together.
He's just a great trainer, and I followed this horse to Sweden, which was awesome, and it was nice to be able to get to drive him again over here in the States. And not only is Darrell a great trainer, he's been a great friend, and Charlie the owner, so some wins are just more special than others.
With more on Super Night at Scioto Downs, here's Allison, who is up at the Delaware Fairgrounds preparing for next week's Little Brown Jug. Hi, Allison.
Thanks, Paul. Well, if I'm here among the chairs, I must be at the Delaware County Fairgrounds. But before we start talking about the jug, let's kick it back to last week when we were at Scioto Downs for Super Night. We got to see some really memorable wins that night, including MJB Got Faith, who took the final for 2-year-old colt trotters. What's most remarkable about MJB Got Faith is not that he was undefeated going into the race, or that he beat also previously undefeated Kantaka, but his 10-year-old owner, Brianna Carsey. And how did he get his name?
From my oldest sister and my brother, their 2 initials and mine. And then I added Got Faith.
How hard were you cheering for that horse coming home?
It hurts now.
And he started quite a savings for you. What are you going to do with all your savings?
I'm going to give it to the people who need it.
And then when she had spoke afterwards, where they're saying about donating the money to the people who needed it, that really brought a tear to my eye. I mean, if anybody didn't feel anything there, that was pretty softening right there.
And since it's the 70th edition of the Little Brown Jug, we checked in with a very busy Phil Terry to see what's new this year. And how chaotic is it around here?
It gets pretty chaotic because we got the entire fairgrounds to get set up. Got the placement of all the signs. We got making sure all the stalls and everything are ready. Answering all the phone calls for people that want tickets. Making arrangements for all the horses that are coming in. Monday's racing's back. And it's a new post time. We're posting at 3 o'clock for the first race. And we'll go right up until dusk. And we're having a big party underneath the grandstand. Make a kick. They can come and get $1 beer, $1 dogs, $1 popcorn. And Roger and Jason are both going to be under the grandstand at times giving handicapping tips.
Now, while these horses are out here warming up for the following races this week, Count on Cammy really heated up at Scioto Downs on Saturday night. Perhaps best described as the eternal bridesmaid, Cammy picked a pretty nice time to break her maiden, winning the Ohio Sire Stakes final for 2-year-old filly trotters.
I'm just speechless right now. We always joke she's always a bridesmaid, never the bride, because she's been second. And
she picked the right night to be the bride.
Yeah, definitely.
How proud of this are you right now?
Oh, I'm so proud I could just fly home, I tell you. It's just unbelievable.
If all goes as planned for George and Montreal Teague, they'll be crossing the finish line first next Thursday with Wiggle It Jiggle It in the Little Brown Jug. Now, we got a chance to catch up with them Saturday at Scioto, where everything did go right. They won the 2-year-old filly pace final with Miss Me Yet, and they're already getting that jug fever.
Yeah, no, kind of missing racing.
How's he doing?
Good, much better. He kind of worked out a couple of things that he needed worked out, so.
Think he's gonna be coming in fresh for the jug?
Fresher than he was, right? So.
Are you getting jug fever yet?
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. Bought myself a camper and everything, so I'm ready.
The bright lights will be shining on the finest trotters this Saturday night at Mohawk Racetrack for the $2.7 million Maple Leaf Trot and Canadian Trotting Classic card. Both storied events, the Maple Leaf Trot will be contested for the 64th time, while the Canadian Trotting Classic, Canada's richest trotting event, will crown a 40th champion on Saturday. Elimination races for both trotting races were held this past Saturday at Mohawk. Owner-trainer-driver Verlin Yoder's Natural Herbie was a 12-to-1 upset winner in the first elimination of the Maple Leaf Trot over superstar trotting mare Be a Magician. A 5-year-old gelding, Natural Herbie, posted his 3rd win of the season. Yoder selected post position 3 for this Saturday's final. Aki Svanstad trainee Resolve lived up to his connection's expectations and won the 2nd Maple Leaf Trot elimination. Owner Hans Engren put up $45,000 to supplement his trotter to this year's event, and that appears to be money well spent. Resolve captured his elimination easily by 3 1/4 lengths over Intimidate in 1:52.4 for his 2nd victory of the season. Resolve starts from the rail on Saturday. Trainer Jimmy Tactor will be seeking back-to-back Canadian Trotting Classic titles this Saturday, and the Hall of Fame conditioner is loaded with 4 talented trotters. Pinkman, this year's Hambletonian champion, returned to the winner's circle last Saturday in his elimination with a strong 2-length victory in 1:52.2. The Tactor trainee has won 9 of 13 starts this year and is the sport's highest-earning trotter this season with $1.22 million in earnings. Pinkman will start from post position 4. Brian Sears will look to add the Canadian Trotting Classic to his list of major wins in the 3-year-old trotting division this season with the other elimination winner, Uncle Lass. Also trained by Tactor, Uncle Lass prevailed in a win photo over Crazy Wow in last Saturday's first elimination. Uncle Lass has raced in the shadow of his stablemate this season, but has put together an impressive campaign with nearly $500,000 earned. Tactor will also start French Laundry and the Bank in Saturday's Canadian Trotting Classic. The Maple Leaf Trot and Canadian Trotting Classic undercard features 3 rich trotting events. World champion Mission Brief headlines the $404,000 Elegant Image Stakes for 3-year-old trotting fillies. The Ron Burke trainee won her elimination last Friday by 15 lengths, and the Hamiltonian Heat winner is seeking her 16th career win. Rookie trotters will also be on display in the $410,000 Peaceful Way Stakes for 2-year-old fillies and the $373,000 William Wellwood Memorial for 2-year-old colts and geldings. In this week's edition of Paul's Paddock Picks, I'll take a look at the Maple Leaf Trot. Natural Herbie and Resolve won the eliminations for this race last Saturday, but for the final I am looking at Be a Magician to be the winner. She was second by a neck to Natural Herbie in their elimination in her first start in 3 weeks. I think that race will tighten her up and we can expect a championship performance on Saturday. For place, I am going with Resolve. The Aki Svanstad trainee has 2 wins and 2 narrow defeats in his 4 most recent starts and looks to be in top form heading into the Maple Leaf. He won his elimination last week by 3 1/4 lengths over defending Maple Leaf Trot champion Intimidate. Natural Herbie, the other elimination winner, has always been one of my favorites, and I look for a big effort from him on Saturday as well. As mentioned earlier, he defeated Be a Magician in the elim, and I look for a strong effort from the Verlin Yoder trainee. So once again in the Maple Leaf Trot, I am going with Be a Magician to win, Resolve to place, and Natural Herbie to show. Hundreds of horsemen and horsewomen flocked to the spacious Mark Ford Training Center this past Sunday to purchase the next crop of Standardbred champions. Sunny skies and a cheerful outlook prevailed as 113 colts and fillies passed through the auction ring for a gross of $1.42 million, averaging $12,600 per offering. The sales topper was a Rock and Roll Heaven colt from Arboro, Savannah, consigned by Blue Chip Farms and purchased by Joseph Bellino for $67,000. Now let's head back to Allison in Delaware to wrap up this week's show.
This week's tweet of the week comes from Saratoga Harness because you really just have to see it to believe it. They tweeted, "A triple dead heat occurred for the first time in 10 years in tonight's 7th, hashtag Saratoga Harness." And here's the photo to prove it. While at the Delaware County Fairgrounds, we figured we'd catch up with trainer Brian Brown, who won last year's Jugette with Colors of Virgin, and this year will send Lost for Words into the Little Brown Jug. Now this horse has been knocking on the door in all the big races, and they're looking for a little home track advantage on Thursday. How is he doing coming in? It was a big mile. He went in the PA Sire Stakes final last week.
That was probably his best race of the year so far. So I think he's coming in good. Tomorrow, I believe, I'm going to train him pretty good. Then we'll train him back a lighter time on Monday and then be ready to go. Yeah. Even if he doesn't race good, it wasn't a terrible race. And he'll come back to the barn, ears are up, playing, and he's just a nice little horse that always tries. But his length and his gait is what I think saves him because he's not a big horse.
And for this week's Sound Off on Social question, I have to say I've heard a lot about the Little Brown Jug the last few weeks, but not that much about the Jugette. So I want to know, what do you think of the ladies this year? Last year, Colors of Virgin started a breakout season by winning the Jugette. Are we going to see somebody else come out of the woodwork this year? Who's it going to be? Let us know on Facebook and Twitter at US Trotting, and you could win some USTA swag. Well, they're empty now, but in just a week, these chairs will all be filled, and this place will be packed with Little Brown Jug fans from across the country. Be sure to keep up with all things hashtag LBJ15 with the mini site from the Harness Racing Fan Zone, and look out next week for a special edition of Morning Line, catching all the action of the Little Brown Jug and the Jugette.